Now, one of the questions you would think, Brian, on the TARP is some companies, banks, now say they want to pay it back. So what are you going to do with that money once you get it back? Do you reinvest it in insurance companies by and large, or do you save it and, in case something else blows up?
The prudent thing to do would be to save it in case something else blows up. I mean, we're not done with all the ramifications, permutations of what can go wrong as we work our way toward
commercial real estate or something like that.
Commercial real estate defaults are going to be pretty impressive going forward.
Now, you mentioned that you didn't agree so much with the Treasury and the operations also of the Fed. So if you were able to ask Tim Geithner a question today, what would it be?
When did you stop believing in capitalism?
And why?
And why? That's another follow-up question I would ask.
Well, that's my follow-up question for you. So we're in the same boat. Why specifically would you ask that question now? What do you think is the trend that you're seeing?
I talk to a lot of small, medium-sized community banks all across this country, and they're willing, able to make loans, but the regulators are getting in their way of making the right loans at this time because they must balance their portfolios. And these are banks that are set to grow, that didn't make the same mistakes as the big banks that have gone bust, yet they're being precluded from being able to grow because we're busy propping up a defunct system, a business model that didn't work. And my question would be, why not let something better that evolve, take its place, grow? Which is what we're supposed to do. It's called creative destruction.
Right, allowing the process to work. Which happens certainly with the smaller banks from time. We've seen it with the bank failures this year in the smaller banks. But with the larger institutions, people argue, you know what, we needed this TARP money to stabilize a system that, remember, in September and October, some thought was on the verge of, I don't know, collapse, but something terrible happening. And, the argument for TARP is that, hey, we did that, now they're starting to pay it back, and we can move forward, no?
No, because they still have their tentacles into all those banks. Just talk to any of the bankers. And it's interesting how you see their policy positions changing amongst these big banks as they have received the TARP money and falling more in line with government policies.